What they've hidden about Jesus and Lucifer has enslaved mankind since the beginning, keeping us trapped in a web of calculated deception. Jesus Christ and Lucifer were actually the same. They force-fed us the story of eternal enemies. But now, the moment has arrived to shatter this grand illusion, to break free from the chains of manipulation that have bound us to a false reality. Jesus himself declared, "The truth will set you free." But the real question is, are you prepared to face it? The evidence isn't just hidden in the Bible's own pages. It screams from forbidden gospels and ancient Christian texts that the church systematically destroyed. The same church that burned books, silenced voices, and massacred those who dared speak this truth. To uncover it, we must first revisit the tale as it has been told. In the beginning, the heavens were vast and filled with celestial beings. Angels, cherubs, and archangels carried out the will of God. Among them, the archangels held the highest rank. They were warriors, messengers, and guardians of divine order. One stood above the rest. His name was Lucifer. He was magnificent. His form shone with stones of great beauty: sardius, topaz, diamond, beryl, onyx, and sapphire. Gold encased him. Music flowed through him like breath. He was not just another angel. He was the anointed cherub, chosen to stand upon the holy mountain of God, walking among the fiery stones. But his perfection became his downfall. Lucifer looked upon himself and saw his own brilliance. Pride swelled within him. He was not content to serve. He longed for more. "I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God," he declared. His ambition was not to serve, but to rule. He sought to surpass God himself. Lucifer's words spread like fire. Some angels listened. Some followed. A rebellion took shape. Heaven, once a place of peace, became a battlefield. Lucifer, now a great dragon, led his army against the forces of God. The war shook the heavens, but the rebellion could not stand. The archangel Michael, wielding divine power, rose against him. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels did not prevail. Lucifer's forces were crushed. He was cast out of heaven. His followers fell with him. A great voice in heaven proclaimed, "Now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ." This is the story has been told about Lucifer. But what truly drove Lucifer to rebel against God? To understand his reason for waging war in heaven, we must first see how his story connects to that of Jesus. Their link is essential to understanding how they may be one and the same. Before we uncover the mystery of this celestial conflict, we need to examine the deeper connection between Jesus, Lucifer, and light. This connection is crucial. Jesus openly declares himself the light of the world, not once but twice. In John 8:12, he proclaims, "I am the light of the world." Again in John 9:5, he repeats, "When I am in the world, I am the light of the world." But the revelation doesn't stop there. In Revelation 22:16, he makes an even bolder statement. "I, Jesus, am the root and the descendant of David, the bright morning star." The morning star, the very same title that Lucifer bears. In Latin, Lucifer means Lightbringer. In Isaiah 14:12, the fallen angel is named, "How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth." Two beings, both called the morning star, both from heaven, both descended to earth. Coincidence, or something far more shocking? Christianity paints Jesus as the Son of God, sent from heaven to redeem mankind. It casts Lucifer as the son of the dawn, banished from heaven for his rebellion. But what if these two figures are not opposites? What if they are the same? And if so, what is Jesus truly trying to save humanity from? To find the answer, we must go back to the first betrayal, the war in heaven, the fall of Lucifer, and the forbidden secret he whispered to mankind. Lucifer didn't just seek power, he sought divinity. He wanted to be God. The rebellion failed. He was cast down, but his war wasn't over. From the shadows of Eden, he watched, and when the moment was right, he approached Eve, not as an enemy, but as a liberator. His words slithered through the air like silk. "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" he asked Eve. She hesitated, but repeated the command. "You will not certainly die," Lucifer whispered, "for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." She ate. So did Adam, and they did not die. Isn't it strange that God would make knowledge forbidden? And even stranger, he warned them, "The day you eat of it, you will surely die." But they didn't. They ate, and they lived. Which means one thing: God lied. So what was he really trying to keep from them? What was so dangerous about knowing the truth? Lucifer's defiance was clear. He sought to be God and whispered the same promise to humanity. But here's the question no one dares to ask. Has Jesus done the same? In the Gospel of John, the religious leaders confronted him. His words shook them. "We are not stoning you for any good work," they said, "but for blasphemy, because you, who are a man, declare yourself to be God." Jesus did not deny it. Instead, he replied with something even more shocking. "Is it not written in your law, 'I have said you are gods'?" Think about that. Jesus didn't reject the claim. He reinforced it. He echoed the same forbidden idea that Lucifer had once spoken in Eden. And that's only the beginning. There exists a secret book of John, a banned gospel so dangerous that the church erased it from history. This book reveals something unthinkable. It was not Lucifer who led Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge. It was Jesus. In his own words, Jesus declares, "As for the tree called the knowledge of good and evil, it is the wisdom of the light." They commanded him not to eat from it. However, I caused them to eat. Read that again. Jesus caused them to eat. Not as an act of betrayal, but as an act of liberation. The connection between Jesus and Lucifer has never been clearer. They are the same. And this is the truth that sent the church into a frenzy, so dangerous, so explosive that it had to be buried. But we're only scratching the surface. Why would Jesus lead them to the tree of knowledge? Why would he defy God's command? Because, like Lucifer, Jesus sought to overthrow God. Sounds impossible? Too outrageous to believe? Brace yourself, because the evidence is overwhelming. The secret book of John, a text so dangerous that the church erased it from history, exposes a truth that changes everything. God is not the true God. The deity worshipped in the Bible is a fraud, a liar, a deceiver. The real God is pure light, an infinite divine mind called the pleroma. And all things, all beings, all of us are part of it. But the false God of the Bible, a being of chaos and darkness, created a world of matter to trap souls of light inside physical bodies. He made them forget their true nature. He built a prison, and he called it creation. And why? To strip them of power, to make them worship him. The secret book of John reveals the Creator God's demonic forces envied the man. His understanding was far greater than theirs. When they saw his light, they cast him down into the lowest depths of the material world. They forged a new body for him, one of earth, water, fire, and wind. They sealed him in forgetfulness and made him subject to death. And this isn't the only text that exposes the deception. In the Apocalypse of Adam, Adam reveals to his son Seth that he and Eve were once divine beings, higher than the false God who created them. Then God, the ruler of the eons, divided us in wrath. He enslaved us in fear and made us forget who we were. The tree of knowledge was their way out. This is why the false God made it forbidden. This is why he lied. And when the serpent, when Lucifer, told them they would not die but instead become like God, he was right. But here's where the story takes its darkest turn. The secret book of John reveals something even more shocking. It wasn't Lucifer who led Adam and Eve to eat from the tree. It was Jesus. As for the tree of knowledge, it is the wisdom of the light. They commanded him not to eat from it. However, I caused them to eat. Let that sink in. Jesus caused them to eat. Not as a trick, not as a temptation, as a liberation. Because Jesus is the Son of Light, not the son of the false God of the Bible, but an emanation of the true divine mind. His mission to wake humanity up, to remind them they are not servants, they are gods, and that's exactly what the false God fears. This is why the church buried these texts. This is why anyone who spoke these truths was silenced. because the lie only works if you never question it. But what happens when the truth can no longer be hidden? What happens when you wake up? In a gospel the church tried to erase, Jesus reveals a truth that shatters everything. The Gospel of Judas, a text condemned as heresy, tells a different story. One where the 12 disciples are not enlightened followers, but blind men worshiping a false god. The disciples approach Jesus confused. "Master, why are you laughing at our prayer?" His answer is chilling. "I'm not laughing at you. You do this because your God demands it. Their God, not his." Still, they insist. "Master, you are the Son of our God." Jesus looks at them. "How do you know me? No generation among you will ever truly know who I am." The disciples are lost, grasping at faith while unknowingly leading their own followers into darkness. Then they tell Jesus of a vision, one of sacrifices, blood, and slaughter. Jesus does not comfort them. "You are the ones receiving the offerings on the altar. That God you saw being praised, that's the God you serve. And the 12 people in your vision, that's you. The animals being led to slaughter, those are the people you will lead astray." A horrifying revelation. According to the Gospel of Judas, Jesus is not simply criticizing the disciples, he is exposing them. They are following an evil God. And worse, that they don't even know it. If this is true, then mainstream Christianity is a lie. The disciples, the very foundation of the church, got it all wrong. So who is the real God? And who is Jesus? Jesus takes Judas aside, away from the others. He gives him the secret knowledge that no one else is ready to hear. "Come, and I will teach you the mysteries no human has seen." There is a boundless realm, unseen by angels, unknown to men. It is the great invisible spirit, never named, never grasped. A luminous cloud emerged, and from it a great angel of light came into being. This angel created the luminous realm. This is not the vengeful God of the Bible. This is pure light, divine mind, the true God. And Jesus, he is not the son of the wrathful God worshipped by the disciples. He is an emanation of the true divine source, a son of light, just like Lucifer. The connections can no longer be ignored. Jesus calls himself the light of the world. Lucifer means Lightbringer. Jesus is called the morning star in Revelation. Lucifer is called the morning star in Isaiah. Both descended from heaven to bring knowledge to humanity. Both rebelled against the false god of control. Both offered humanity a way to become divine. Mainstream Christianity teaches that Lucifer wanted to become God and told humanity they could do the same. But what did Jesus say in the Gospel of John? "Is it not written in your law, I have said you are gods?" In the banned book of John, Jesus even admits that he was the one who led humanity to the forbidden knowledge, just as Lucifer did in Eden. So what do you believe? Did the church twist the story of Jesus to hide the truth? Did they demonize Lucifer to ensure that humanity would never know its own divinity? Or will you see through the deception? Because if Lucifer and Jesus are the same archetype, then everything changes. The message is clear. Don't worship God. Become God.